What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Israel Adesanya reclaims the UFC middleweight title. In the main event of UFC 287, Israel Adesanya reclaimed the UFC title by defeating Alex Pereira. In the first round, the two men both looked to land a high volume of leg kicks, with the last stylebender notably looking to keep the fight in the center of the octagon. In the second, Pereira came out looking incredibly aggressive, landing some big leg kicks that seemed to bother Adesanya. As Pereira backed Adesanya up against the fence and looked to land bombs, Izzy flipped the script and landed a big right hand that stunned the former two-division Glory kickboxing champion. With plenty of time left on the clock, Adesanya capitalized, landing another big punch that sent Pereira to the canvas before he sealed the deal with a big hammer fist that forced the referee to stop the fight. After the fight, Adesanya was quick to repay the favor by using Pereira's signature bow and arrow taunt against him as he lay on the canvas before delivering an epic post-fight octagon interview.
I hope every one of you behind the screens or in this arena can feel this level of happiness just one time in your life. I hope all of you can feel how happy I am just one time in your life. But guess what? You will never feel this level of happiness if you don't go for something in your own life. When they knock you down, when they try on you, when they talk about you, and they try to put their foot on your neck.
With the win, Adesanya now cements his place as the middleweight champion once again, creating quite the interesting situation at 185 pounds. As the defending champion, the last stylebender notably holds wins over much of the division and seemingly has no plans of fighting Pereira again. Although Khamzat Chimaev is moving up to middleweight and could present a new challenge, the expectation is that the UFC will book him to fight Paulo Costa. At the same time, Chimaev and Pereira have been open to fighting one another in the past, which has many wondering whether or not the UFC will look to match them up against one another, depending on whether or not Poatan decides to move up in weight. How do you think things will play out at 185 pounds? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Jorge Masvidal retires after loss to Gilbert Burns. In the co-main event of UFC 287, Jorge Masvidal dropped a lackluster decision to Gilbert Burns, making his fourth straight defeat. After the fight, Masvidal left his gloves in the center of the octagon, confirming his retirement during his post-fight octagon interview.
I don't feel the same when I get in here no more. It's been 20 long years. I love all of you. UFC came here 20 years ago, and it inspired me to chase this dream for 20 years, 50-some fights later. Hopefully I inspired somebody in here to go fight for theirs, no matter what it is.
Despite that, many have held out hope that Masvidal will go back on his word and fight against Kevin Holland, given the beef between the two during fight week. For Gilbert Burns, he now has his sights set on a crack at the title. With Colby Covington next in line, Burns could very well find himself next in line for a crack at the winner. Of course, with Belal Muhammad eager to secure his #1 contender status, it'll be interesting to see how things play out at 170 pounds. As Burns revealed post-fight, the only thing that makes sense is for him to fight for the belt once more. Belal Muhammad calls Dana White's bluff. When UFC President Dana White announced Colby Covington as the welterweight #1 contender, he justified it by saying that Covington had showed up and made weight as the backup fighter for UFC 286 when no one else would. According to Belal Muhammad, however, he had asked to be the backup fighter. During a media scrum this weekend, while wearing a t-shirt with Colby Covington on it, Muhammad called White's bluff.
Literally, I was asking for that role. I'm walking around at 185. I was like, I could have made weight on Thursday to go down there and make weight. So when like Dana says like, oh man, he was the only one that was willing to do it, I'm like, don't lie on the situation. Like if you want him to put him in a title fight for his third time, obviously there's a reason for it, but don't sit there and make up lies like, oh man, he deserves it, he earned it, he's #2, blah, blah, blah.
Muhammad has been linked to fights with both Shavkat Rakhmonov and Kamaru Usman. However, there's been no word as to when he could be back in the octagon. Just recently, Muhammad was pictured meeting with UFC President Dana White around the same time Rakhmonov was pictured meeting with White, fueling speculation that the promotion would proceed with booking the two streaking contenders against one another. Do you think Muhammad should get the next crack at the belt after Colby Covington and Leon Edwards fight, or should he have to win one more in order to punch his ticket to a title fight? Before we continue, make sure you give that like button some love, and be sure to subscribe to the MMA Zone for all of the latest news. UFC Fighter gets caught breaking rules. After a big win on the prelim card of UFC 287, Sam Hughes has now found herself in headlines for all the wrong reasons. While the talk should have been about her performance, Hughes could very well find herself in quite a bit of trouble now, as she revealed at her post-fight interview her boyfriend bet $1,000 on her heading into the fight, and after her big win, she wants her cut.
My boyfriend told me he put $1,000 on me, which I wish he wouldn't have told me that, but he owes me a very good dinner. I'll tell you that.
When did he tell you that?
Like a couple days ago. I think I was like a plus 400 or something like that. So I was like, I love it.
The problem is that the UFC's new rules prohibit fighters, their teams, and people associated with them from betting on their fights. The change, of course, came as the result of the ongoing investigation into James Krause's suspicious betting activity. So far, no word yet what the repercussions could be for Hughes. However, the UFC has been taking the recent Krause betting scandal and subsequent investigation very seriously. Stay tuned for updates as they become available. Dana White looking absolutely shredded in recent pic. After committing himself to transforming his health last year, UFC President Dana White is looking absolutely shredded in recent pictures taken and posted leading up to UFC 287. This isn't the first time White has shocked fans with a fitness transformation. Several years ago, he was pictured shirtless at the beach, looking absolutely shredded alongside friend and former champion Matt Serra. As White revealed last year, after meeting with a mortality expert, he was given around a decade to live, which forced him to change his lifestyle. Since then, he has reportedly seen marked improvements across the board in key blood test indicators, in addition to the insane physique that has fight fans cracking jokes about whether White is trying to gear up for a run at the title. Raul Rosas Jr. loses first fight of career. On the main card of UFC 287, Raul Rosas Jr. dropped the first loss of his professional career, derailing his plans to be the first UFC 3-weight champion. Rosas Jr. looked great in the first round, using his wrestling to control the majority of the round. However, in the second, Christian Rodriguez began to find his rhythm, dominating the fight en route to a unanimous decision victory. After the fight, the MMA community was quick to take to social media to provide reactions. Paulo Costa, in signature fashion, was quick to chime in, saying, "Unfortunately, he lost this time. His beauty didn't save him. Anyway, I think he'll come back better. He's very young and has a lot of time to compete or model and such." Michael Bisping also made sure to give Rosas Jr. his credit for opening up a UFC pay-per-view card at just 18 years old. In typical Sean Strickland fashion, the controversial middleweight was quick to chime in with some criticism for the young contender, referring to the rapid rise and fall of Sage Northcutt several years ago. Although he came up short against Rodriguez, the fight marked a big step up for Rosas Jr. in competition. After rattling off 7 straight wins, this loss could prove to be a mere speed bump in the road to title contention several years down the line for Rosas Jr. On the other hand, many are predicting that after losing, there will be a significant mental hurdle for the teenager when he returns to the octagon. And now for our breaking news story of the day. We have Alex Pereira breaking silence on Israel Adesanya's KO. Last night, Alex Pereira was viciously knocked out by Israel Adesanya. Today, he released this statement on Instagram. "Just passing by to say everything is okay. I want to thank my family, my team, and all of you who follow me and like my work. Now I just need to rest to go back and continue with the plans that are already drawn. Thank you, God." What do you think about this? Will Alex Pereira move up in weight or try to dethrone Israel Adesanya? Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to stay up to date with MMA news every day. Here are the top comments from yesterday's video. Alex was too comfortable and too confident. Didn't respect Izzy at all. Someone responded with, "Izzy baited him. He wanted him closer to get the KO, just like the first round of the last fight. He hit him at the same spot as the last fight. Congratulations to the greatest middleweight of our era. As an Izzy fan, I respect Alex, but I'm so happy for my guy. He tried to end Izzy the same way as last time. Biggest mistake ever." And those were the top comments from yesterday's video. If you want to be featured on our next video, make sure to leave a comment and don't forget to check out yesterday's video in case you missed it.